Autism conference that my wife and I were speaking at. We were in a common room with about 100 autistic people, and it was like just we were talking about stuff with each other, and there was somebody who would go up and say, all right, we're going to have this here, what do you guys feel about that? And some guy was talking, and he was, I'm bad. Because, and I look at my wife and she's crying. And I'm like, what? He's having a little trouble getting the words out. And she said, no, it's not him, it's all of you. You're all sitting there waiting, totally like as if you're involved in a conversation, and everything is normal. And neurotypicals would be like, come on, time is money. You got something to say, otherwise shut up. And you guys are all listening, 100% present. And she realized that we take in data all day long and are perfectly fulfilled with the conversation. Neurotypicals are limited to, okay, this is in service of what, please? And they're very short attention span and very intolerant of and whereas autistic people will stare at the simplest thing for hours, and like Einstein end up seeing interrelationships that change the world. But they also might be just staring at a dog poop, and imagining the dog, or they might be staring like I do at the neuromusculature of a human body, and figuring out what would be the causal factor for that muscle to be so much tighter than that one throughout the whole system, and to be able to extrapolate a lot of information. So autistic people. You always talk about the autistic child staring into the distance or at an object, and you think he's retarded, because obviously only a retarded idiot would stare at a wall for 2 hours. What if he's seeing the history of mankind written in the that is so try Fibonacci 1135 Somebody discovered that the numerical patterns are repetitive in plants, human hands, everything there is, and understanding that all of nature is manifest in the shape of a stem and leaves of a plant, and being able to look at that and take it all in. The autistic person does that, and the neurotypical finds fault with it and gets upset. If the neurotypical in service of the autistic child was able to quiet down, shut up, sit still, and assume competence, assume there's something going on inside that person, assume that they're looking at the world and seeing as much as you do in the fashions or ideas of people in the street, they're seeing that in looking at a rock. And from that place of stillness, let the autistic person feel safe enough, first of all, to include you in their consciousness, and then realize that there's a whole world. And God does not make garbage. There's that line, God gives an equal measure to each and every one of his children. The point of that was to say that just as much as you think is going on in your brilliant mind is in fact going on in the mind of that child that's staring at a rock. You just happen to have a rather limited ability to look for things that are not typical to your world. You see what you expect to see, and everything else is just nothing there. And the autistic person is seeing a wealth of stuff that you're missing, but he's wrong. By definition, he's stupid, he's retarded. By definition, he knows that he will be the last chosen, he will be the last protected. which I know sounds contradictory because people spend so much time trying to be there for autistic people. They're just being there for them in a way that only acknowledges similarity to self rather than uniqueness of the individual.
Mm-hmm.